What's going on, YouTube? Now, just because you have a crossover doesn't mean you don't want to have fun.
And that's why Audi makes S versions of even practical nameplates like this Q5.
So, with the 0 to 60 of under 5 seconds, a great sounding exhaust, and plenty of luxury, is this the best performance luxury crossover money can buy? Let's go ahead and find out. So a fitting place to begin is, of course, under the hood. So for the SQ5, you are going to have an upgraded powertrain, which is a 3-liter turbocharged V6 engine. It makes 349 horsepower, 369 pound-feet of torque, and power is put to the ground via all 4 wheels with quattro all-wheel drive and an 8-speed automatic transmission. Combined fuel economy is 20 mpg.
Now, of course, we're going to be taking this out for a lovely spin later on, and we're going to be doing things like our signature sound level reading while we're on that test drive. After that, we'll also be talking about pricing and 2 new elements we're integrating into our reviews: predicted resale value and reliability, and you'll certainly want to stay tuned for those things.
But before we get to that, there's a whole bunch of changes that designate the SQ5 over top of the Q5 with the exterior and interior. Now, when it comes to the SQ5, it does of course have some special design touches in the front versus the Q5. This, though, has the black optic package, so this is actually how I would certainly get the SQ5, because it gets you this full blacked out appearance throughout the entire single frame grille, as well as over here on our Audi branding, and even the letters in SQ5, everything except for that nice little red accent there that means the S brand. Now, of course, we have the full black exterior as well, so it's very stealthy looking. And let's talk about the headlights as well. So we are going to have standard LED headlights just like every single Audi, but if you choose the Prestige version of this, that's going to get you the fancier lighting arrangement that includes things such as animations as well as dynamic turn signals. Of course, as you move around to the rear, it is also spiced up for S duty.
Yeah, and overall the classy look of the Q5 continues, but we have a lot of blacked out elements since we have the black optic package, which looks really good paired with the black paint color. Now, Drew went ahead and hopped inside because he's going to start it up. We got a little preview of the exhaust, and we're going to see if all the taillight elements are LED. So we have an LED brake light portion, incandescent reverse light, and then we have a dynamic LED turn signal indicator. So 2 out of 3 elements are LED. I really wish they would maybe make this LED, but overall the taillight is a beautiful design. If you choose the Prestige, you get a OLED taillight as well. Dropping down to this lower diffuser area, all of this is going to be very aggressively finished for SQ5. You'll notice that we have quad exhaust outlets, so that's the main differentiator between this and the Q5. And not only that, this is an active exhaust system, so it sounds absolutely incredible. So let's go ahead and take a listen.
Coming to our wheels, 20-inch alloys are standard equipment. You can option on 21-inch alloys if you prefer. These are the 20s. We do have a contrast design with the black optic package. And then peeking in between the spokes, you'll see these nice red brake calipers. We do have enhanced brakes, as you'd expect for this S model. Taking a look at our mirrors, because we have the Premium Plus or the Prestige trim level, that's going to get you the fully loaded assortment of features, including power folding and auto dimming.
Now, here at the side, you see that signature Q5 look. The overall vehicle length is 184.3 inches long. And I didn't mention it at the rear, but this thing has a 4,400 pound tow rating. Now, in regards to your safety systems, we have seen an improvement for 2024 because Audi is now including all of your active safety features as standard equipment on this SQ5. So certainly I'm very happy to see that. The new feature this year is the lane keeping assist. That's now standard for 2024. Now guys, there are of course some beautiful S elements on the inside, so let's dive into that. But first, if you're new here, we're brothers and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars.
Now onto the interior. First, of course, we'll take a look at the key fob. This is Audi's key fob, as you've seen on many of their models, but it does have S branding on the back. And I want to point out something new for 2024. That's the fact that remote start is now included on this vehicle via the Audi application. Now, to get inside, just grab behind the handle. That will unlock the door. Continues with the flip-up style door handles as well. And take a look inside the cabin. We have a very nice spec, mostly because we've got the optional Napa leather seats. I love these things. But let's talk about what you get standard. That's going to be a real leather seat with a suede insert. When you upgrade, though, on the Premium Plus or Prestige to this quilted Napa leather seat, it's an absolutely stunning design. I love the stitching details. It's very soft and supple. Plus, all models are going to come with performance seats, so this is going to keep you in place when you're cornering aggressively. Now, as far as the seats themselves, 8-way power adjusting with 4-way lumbar support. We also have a manual thigh extension, and memory seats will be included on both Premium Plus and Prestige. But let's go ahead and climb inside. And I did almost forget to mention the fact that you can get this in a red interior as well. I think that really stands out in this class of vehicle. But let's go ahead and talk about overall materials. Over here on your door trim, you will get the leather covering with the stitching detail. We have a suede insert through the center section, soft touch plastic along the top, and we have the carbon inlays. So this is going to be a carbon fiber trim you'll see reflected throughout the entire cabin, including all across here. This is a soft touch plastic, more of the carbon inlays through here. And then Audi finishes all of these areas in a piano black. And then we also have leather along the console. Let's go ahead and fire it up with the red accented button. Now let's take a look at the individual features. First of all, digital gauge cluster. Of course, this is Audi's virtual cockpit system, so this is what they're known for. It remains the same this year with all the same cool functionality. We don't actually have navigation on this example, though, so you won't find that in the cluster itself. We also don't have the available head-up display that comes on the Prestige trim level. Taking a look at the steering wheel, we have a nice design. Same kind of perforated leather as the seats up here. S branding, of course. We also have a physical button for the heated steering wheel, which is nice as opposed to being hidden in the display like most other Audis. And then the steering wheel itself is going to be power tilt and telescoping. By the way, that heating function is now standard for 2024. And the fact that we now have hands-on detection so that you won't have to do any steering input when the adaptive cruise is on. It will know that you're holding it and that you're still paying attention. Now, let's take a look at interior storage next. Open up the center console here. Inside, you'll find 6 donuts. That's because this is Car Confections and we like to do the donut test. Inside of this console, like I said, we can fit 6 of them. That is all right. It's better than many other Audi products. It's still not a ton, obviously. And you've got your 2 cup holders in front of that. But if you want this armrest extended out, they're going to protrude into your cup holder area. Now you have a little slot here, you have a little slot here, and another slot there for an assortment of items such as your key fob, or maybe you could prop your phone up inside of that. And then behind that we have our perforated leather electronic shifter. Pull back for drive, bump over here to the right if you want to activate manual shift mode, and you have paddle shifters on the steering wheel. Push up into reverse to see the backup camera. This is not the latest version of Audi's camera, so you will notice that we're missing the 3D view. That being said, we do still have front and rear parking sensors. And then, of course, just press that P there for park. You have an electronic parking brake located behind that. Now, as we come over to the side, we have a nice knurled metal volume knob for our audio system. In this case, this is going to be the 17-speaker Bang & Olufsen sound system. So let's give this a sample right now. Had to wait a second there and stall so we could let the beat drop. But overall, very nice sounding sound quality. It really fills up the cabin nicely. That's a lot of speakers for this type of cabin, and it's just nice and balanced. I always enjoy listening to a Bang & Olufsen. Okay, so let's kind of zero in over here to our climate area. 3-zone climate is standard equipment on all trim levels. We have the nice physical adjustments for the climate, as well as these touch capacitive real metal toggles to change things like your zones. Over here on the side, this is where you'll find your 3-stage heated seats. Ventilated seats are also offered on the SQ5. I do want to point out though that substitutes your sport seat out for a more conventional seat, so I wouldn't recommend choosing that option. Up top here, we have a 10.1-inch touchscreen display. This is running Audi MMI infotainment system. This has wireless Android Auto and wireless Apple CarPlay. It also does have navigation on many versions, although as I pointed out earlier, that's not equipped on today's example. Taking a look up top here, we have an auto dimming mirror with a compass built into it. And then I'll go ahead and slide back the sunshade on our panoramic sunroof. As you can see, this is a very large piece of glass. The sunshade is power. And then the front portion of this sunroof does open up. It's actually a big section of it. Looks like at least half of it does open up.
And let's dive into this SQ5's rear seat before we take it out on a spin. Now, I do want to just go ahead and mention the legroom figures first. We're sitting at 38 inches of legroom, 39 inches of headroom. That is a pretty good amount of space for a vehicle in this size of category. And I'm 5'9" for reference. This seat is adjusted to Drew, who is 5'8". So here at Car Confections, we want to provide you all the measurements in case you're looking to buy. And we're sitting at about 6.5 inches of additional knee space, which is perfectly fine. And also my feet can't easily slide up underneath of the seat. Now the seats themselves do recline ever so slightly, but not a ton. And then here in the center, we do have vents. That's standard equipment. We also have our own climate controls, independent from the front, 2 charging USB ports, and a 12-volt outlet. I do want to point out heated rear seats are standard on the Prestige level. So you do have to get that top-end model to get heated rear seats. If we fold down the center armrest, there's a fold-down armrest with 2 cup holders inside. Although I do want to point out, when it comes to my Stanley water bottle test, these are the Rage and water bottles right now, and certainly does not fit in there. You're probably going to be able to fit a Dixie cup in the center cup holders. I'm not really sure what they did that for. However, it does fit perfectly fine in the door trim, so you do have at least a spot to put your Stanley water bottle. Now, as far as the door trim itself, you can get rear window sunshades. We don't have them on this model, but it's mostly comprised of leather, carbon fiber, and soft touch plastic, so overall a very nice door trim. Now in the cargo area, in order to get back here, we do have a standard power tailgate. All versions of the SQ5, it's hands-free on Premium Plus and Prestige. Now, as far as the cargo area is concerned, 26 cubic feet of space behind the second row of seats. If we fold the second row down, which we can conveniently do with these little levers right here, and it does fold 40-20-40 split folding, by the way, we're going to be looking at a maximum of 54 cubic feet of cargo capacity. That does compare very closely to all of its main rivals like Mercedes GLC, BMW X3 as well. So a good amount of space, and that's one of the beauties of this vehicle, is you can have a ton of space and also still have a lot of fun, which you'll see in just a second. Now, I'm going to have to go push the seats down because they didn't fold down all the way. And now that I've folded those seats down, I'm going to provide another one of our Car Confections measurements, which is from behind a driver's seat adjustment to someone who's 5'8" to the rear of the cargo area. We're sitting at a very solid 71 inches of overall length. From behind the second row to the end of the cargo area, 37 inches of length. And let's see how wide opening the tailgate is. It's going to be 43 inches wide, which is probably helped by the fact that we have the clamshell type of tailgate. You also do have buttons back here to raise and lower the air suspension. And then if I lift up the cargo floor, you will find a spare tire. But let's go ahead and take it out for a spin before we talk about pricing and predicted resale value and reliability. All right, guys, here we are behind the wheel of the 2024 Audi SQ5. In this test drive, we're going to be talking about quite a few different things, as you can see on the screen right now, including getting our signature sound level reading. But I'm sure you're really curious to know how this vehicle is going to accelerate. So let's go ahead and start with this.
And that was an acceleration to 60 miles per hour.
Very nice.
Very nice. So obviously this is quite quick, and that's because it has plenty of power for a small-ish crossover. As we mentioned with the spec dump, this is a 3-liter turbocharged V6 engine, and that does give you 349 horsepower, 369 pound-feet of torque, as well as a 0 to 60 of 4.7 seconds.
Yeah. So as far as, you know, the numbers benefits over the regular Q5, you're certainly going to feel that advantage. It's about 1 second quicker to 60 versus a standard Q5. And, you know, as far as the power is concerned, it's going to be a pretty substantial power boost as well. So really love that aspect of this SQ5, and what I also love is just the engine note. Oh my goodness, it is so refreshing to hear a beautiful V6 engine under the hood. And we just have it in the standard drive mode. It does, you know, have the exhaust system that can get even better in sport mode, which we'll test out a little bit later in this test drive, but that was the standard, you know, drive mode acceleration, and I was very impressed by even that.
Yeah, it just has a nice throaty sound, but it's not unrefined. It's very smooth still.
And I do want to point out, just kind of cruising here at like city speeds, you know, sitting in traffic, it's not like an obnoxious exhaust. This is an Audi Q5 after all, so, you know, it needs to have that luxury edge to it, and I think that this engine really quiets down very much in a good fashion for a luxury SUV.
So now we're in the dynamic mode, which is the sport mode in this vehicle. Immediately you notice a difference in the sound.
Sounds really good.
Yeah. And we'll accelerate and show this off a little bit better in just a second, but in terms of the rest of the vehicle, it does respond as well when you switch into different drive modes. So since we have the S Sport package, that's going to give us the adaptive air suspension on board. This is a unique element because it gives you the variability, so you can go into dynamic mode. It's going to firm things down, make everything a lot tighter as you corner, minimize the body roll. We also made the steering a little bit firmer, although I will say the steering is always on the lighter side. Audis typically are this way, and this SQ5 is no exception to that rule, so it is going to be on the lighter side than, say, a BMW X5 or X3 M40i. Or other rivals as well. But it's definitely cool to have that. Air suspension really is the main thing that I want to talk about because, like I said, dynamic mode, firmer. When you go in the comfort mode, you can have really the same comfort or even better than the traditional Q5.
Yeah, you know, raise and lower it. And I do want to also point out, even if you don't choose the S Sport package, you get standard adaptive dampers for choosing the SQ5. So in addition to, you know, the standard Q5 suspension, you get adaptive dampers just for choosing this model, regardless of what trim level or package choice you go for. Sounds so good.
Yeah, that'll definitely put a smile on your face because it even, you know, kind of cracks and burbles a bit.
Oh yeah. You can tell they spent a lot of work on the exhaust, that's for sure. There's some of that popping there. Oh yeah, that sounds really, really good. Now, while we're kind of sitting in traffic here, I do want to just hit a few of the other elements. We do have an 8-speed automatic transmission, which performance, as you can see, is very good, even though it's not a dual clutch or anything along those regards. The 8-speed just does a fantastic job of adapting to whatever you need it to be. If you want it comfortable, if you have it in comfort mode, it's going to be a nice, smooth transmission. If you have it in sport mode, it also has very good performance. Additionally, you have standard quattro all-wheel drive, as you would expect. For the SQ5, you do have a special rear bias to the Quattro all-wheel drive to make it a little bit more performance-oriented. And as far as fuel economy is concerned, you do have one fuel economy. It's 18, 24, 20 miles a gallon combined. So not fantastic fuel economy, but also not too bad. It's going to be about 5 mpg worse than an equivalent Q5 model for choosing this, but 20 mpg for something with this much horsepower and sounds like that, I don't think it's too bad of a penalty. Wow. That's really good.
That
okay.
Absolutely lovely.
As lovely as that is, let's get our sound level reading. I'm going to put it back into comfort mode. We're going to be going 55 miles per hour. 54.4 decibels is our official sound level reading, going 55 miles per hour. And, you know, that is a very good sound level reading. I don't have to sit here and guess, though, because I can go to carconfections.com/sound level readings. And on our website, we posted all the cars that we review, which certainly, especially in this segment, is a lot of different vehicles, so we can see how it compares. And cheers to consistency, 54.4 decibels actually makes it exactly the same as the Audi Q5 that we tested out, the 2023 model. So really, you're going to be sitting at the exact same sound level reading. This proves that, regardless of if you choose the SQ5 or the regular Q5, which the Q5 is already one of the quietest options in the segment. So definitely happy to see that you're not going to be paying any terms of penalty when it comes to how much noise is entering into the cabin, besides for the noise you want to hear, of course.
That's what I was going to say is, you know, it really dies down nicely once you kind of are cruising in the comfort mode, so you don't have to have unnecessary noise inside the cabin when you're cruising down the highway. And that really is, I think, one of the ways that you can show the duality of this vehicle, which is going to be today's slam dunk. Because you have that dual character, this is a lot of fun to drive in, and you can have just a great time behind the wheel, but you also feel like you're driving a regular Q5 when you put it in comfort mode, and everything kind of just chills out. I definitely like that.
Yeah, and on the airball side of things, what we're going to say for this SQ5 is, just the overall cabin experience inside of here, it's certainly not bad, don't get me wrong. However, I will say it's starting to show its age a little bit in 2024. This cabin has been out for a while, so it's lacking some of the newest characteristics that we like to see in some of, the newer Audi products, as well as, some of the other German rivals, like the Mercedes GLC is all new. The BMW X3 will be new here shortly, so some of the elements in here are a touch bit dated. And lastly, for the warranty, it's going to be a 4-year, 50,000 mile basic and powertrain warranty, no complimentary maintenance. And let's talk about pricing for the SQ5. Now, you can see the full lineup of pricing on the screen right now. As tested today, we have the Premium Plus, and we have quite a few options, including that S Sport package plus Destination. We're sitting at $69,000 as equipped today. And if you're looking to buy an Audi SQ5 or any new vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. Now, why you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price on your new vehicle. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealer negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of that, a link is provided in our video description, and we also have a pinned comment at the top of this video. And now it's time for us to talk about potential resale value and reliability to make sure you are making a smart purchase. Now, first up, let's talk about resale value. Now, as an economics graduate myself, Drew and I took the time to develop what we think is a good estimate for this Audi SQ5's potential resale value. We estimate that after 5 years, this vehicle will be worth 40.5% of its original MSRP and 14.4% of its original MSRP after 10 years and 120,000 miles. Now that does place it quite below average when it comes to resale value by percent compared to all other vehicle makes, and it is slightly below average in comparison to other vehicle or luxury vehicle makes as well.
We've also done the same for potential reliability by developing the Combined Reliability Index. That takes data from a lot of industry leaders and combines them in a way to give you guys a good reference point. Based on this ranking, Audi is rated below average in relation to all other vehicle makes as well as luxury makes.
If you'd like to check out all of our data about reliability and resale values, as well as learn about our methodology, make sure to head to carconfections.com/resale and carconfections.com/reliability. Buying a car is a big decision, and you want to make sure you're making a smart purchase, especially if you're cross-shopping between different vehicle brands. And guys, that's going to be where we leave off on this in-depth review of the 2024 Audi SQ5. If you enjoyed watching this video or found it helpful in your purchasing decisions, we would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, you help give us access to vehicles like this where we can come out and sample the latest model year and show you guys some of the differences as well as the different trim levels of products. So please subscribe if you haven't already. And if you're already a part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support. We'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.